In the heart of Europe's forests, a ghost moves through the shadows. It looks like a cat, but this is no pet. It is older, wilder, and untamed, a survivor from the Ice Age that refuses to bow to humans. Few people have ever seen it, yet it has lived beside us for thousands of years. This is the European wildcat, and its story is one of mystery, survival, and a battle against extinction. You're watching Pawful Earth. If you love exploring the hidden wonders of the animal kingdom, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, because together we can keep the wild alive. Imagine walking through a misty European forest and suddenly spotting what looks like a house cat darting between the trees. But don't be fooled. This is no ordinary feline. This is the European wildcat, a creature far older and wilder than any pet curled up on our sofas. Its appearance is deceptive, a tabby pattern that seems familiar, yet everything about it is amplified. The body is heavier, the muscles tighter, the fur thicker, designed to withstand bitter winters. And then there's the tail, not thin and delicate like a pet's, but thick and bushy, banded with dark rings and ending in a bold, blunt black tip like a warrior's banner. Unlike domestic cats, these wild cousins want nothing to do with people. They live hidden in the dense forests of Scotland, Germany, Eastern Europe, and the Balkans, slipping through shadows so quietly that even experienced trackers rarely catch a glimpse. To most people, the European wildcat might as well be a myth, a ghostly predator watching from the dark, always close, yet almost never seen. The story of the European wildcat begins long before villages, kingdoms, or even written history. This animal is a living relic of the Ice Age, a survivor from a time when glaciers carved Europe's landscape and giant beasts roamed the land. While its African cousin eventually forged a bond with humans and became the ancestor of our domestic cats, the European wildcat chose a different path, one of independence and wilderness. For tens of thousands of years, it prowled Europe's forests, adapting to frozen winters, shifting climates, and encroaching predators. Archaeological evidence suggests that wildcats were already here nearly 30,000 years ago, their silent paws leaving tracks alongside the first hunter-gatherers. Unlike wolves that learned to trust humans and became dogs, the European wildcat never surrendered its freedom. It remained untamed, guarding the ancient forests as a symbol of the wild Europe that once was, and still is, in fragments today. The European wildcat lives a life of secrecy, perfectly designed for survival in the deep forests. By day, it hides in hollow trees, rocky crevices, or thick undergrowth, and when night falls, it comes alive. These cats are skilled nocturnal hunters, stalking rabbits, rodents, and birds with the patience of a shadow. Every movement is calculated, a twitch of the ear, a pause in the grass, then a sudden explosive leap. Failure means another long, hungry night, but success keeps the ghost of the forest strong. Unlike domestic cats that crave company, the wildcat is fiercely solitary, patrolling vast territories that can stretch across 10 square kilometers. Each forest is divided into invisible borders, defended with scent markings and constant vigilance. They rarely call out, relying on silence to remain unseen, and only break their isolation during the short breeding season. To humans, they may look like distant cousins of our pets, but in truth, their behavior belongs to a much older world, a world of stealth, survival, and complete independence. For thousands of years, the European wildcat outsmarted nature's fiercest challenges: ice, predators, and famine. But today, its greatest enemy is us. As Europe's forests shrink under the blade of logging and urban expansion, the wildcat's hunting grounds vanish piece by piece. Highways cut through its ancient paths, and far too often, these silent hunters meet their end beneath the wheels of speeding cars. Yet the most dangerous threat is one that creeps in quietly: hybridization. When wildcats breed with domestic or feral cats, their unique bloodline begins to fade. The pure European wildcat, shaped by millennia of survival, slowly dissolves into something less wild, less ancient. In places like Scotland, true wildcats are now so rare that conservationists call them the living dead, still here, but on the very edge of extinction. Once masters of Europe's wilderness, they now face a battle they cannot win alone. Their survival depends on whether we choose to protect them or let another ghost of the wild disappear forever. Yet despite the threats closing in, the story of the European wildcat is not finished. Across Europe, determined conservationists are fighting to pull this ghost back from the edge. Ancient forests are being replanted, safe corridors are carved through the landscape to reconnect isolated populations, and breeding programs in sanctuaries work tirelessly to preserve the pure bloodline of the species. Scientists now use advanced genetic testing to tell apart true wildcats from hybrids, ensuring that what survives is the original spirit of the forest, not a diluted shadow. In countries like Germany, Switzerland, and parts of Eastern Europe, these efforts are paying off. Wildcat numbers are beginning to rise again, and sightings in places where they had vanished for decades are slowly returning. Each confirmed track in the snow, each fleeting glimpse in the trees is more than just evidence of survival. It is proof of resilience, a symbol of what is possible when humans choose to protect instead of destroy. The European wildcat, once thought to be fading into legend, is showing us that with care and determination, even the most fragile thread of wilderness can be rewoven into the future. The European wildcat is more than a rare predator hidden in Europe's forests. It is a reminder of what we stand to lose if we let the wild slip away. For thousands of years, it has walked silently beside us, refusing to be tamed, holding on to a freedom our domestic cats long surrendered. To see one is to glimpse a fragment of ancient Europe, a living echo of a time when nature ruled untamed. But if these forests fall silent, that echo will vanish forever. Protecting the European wildcat is not just about saving a species, it is about protecting the soul of the wilderness itself. Because every time we lose a creature like this, we lose a piece of our own story. The story of a planet meant to be shared. The wildcat teaches us a lesson we cannot ignore, that freedom, once lost, can never be reclaimed. And if we want a future where wildness still exists, we must choose to fight for it now, before the shadows close in for good.